There we go.
Welcome to the meeting for the Township of Springfield, County of Union, State of New Jersey, for February 27th, 2024, regular session. This meeting is being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, Chapter 231, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a notice sent to the Star Ledger, the local source, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the township website. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance led by American Legion Post 228 Vice Commander David Penna. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our soldiers overseas and at home. Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Weber,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Laufer,
Present.
Committeeman Capides,
Here.
Committeeman Huber, Committeeman Kaiser.
Here.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to start with proclamations and announcements. February 28th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Halo Roasters at 228 Mountain Avenue, we have Coffee with a Cop, sponsored by the Springfield Police Department. Fantastic event. If you can get there, you can get some questions answered about how the department in the Township of Springfield operates. Maybe you have some questions about, what they can do differently that you'd like done, and look forward to seeing you there. On March 23rd, Saturday, we have the Egg Hunt and Kite Fest from 2 to 4 at Chisholm Park. The rain date for that is March 24th. Register for the event at Community Pass. The website is register.communitypass.net/Springfield. It is on the township website, and you can find that there. Again, it's register.communitypass.net/Springfield. The township extends their condolences to Fire Department Clerk Maria Forte and her family on the recent passing of her mother, Amalia Guarino. We're sorry to hear that. Maria's been a part of our department, and we are sad to hear that. Let's see. Any other proclamations and announcements? I don't have anything. Anybody have any proclamations and announcements that I'm missing? Nothing? All right. Let's move on to public comment for agenda items only. Anybody have any public comment on agenda items only? And I don't think we had anything emailed either.
No, I didn't. I checked this afternoon.
All right, so we had nothing emailed, and we have no one here with any public comment on agenda items. We'll only move on to next. We do not have an administrator's report today. Let me see something. I'm just going to go over just a handful of things on the engineering report that might give you guys something on the administrative report. Henshaw Park Tennis Court, Recreation secured a trust fund grant of $40,000 to perform repaving and resurfacing of the Henshaw Park Tennis Court. Bids were received on November 28th. Work will commence spring of 2024. That's really it. There's nothing else that I'd want to cover on here right now with that. All right. Need a motion for minutes, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move the regular and executive minutes of December 12th, 2023, as emailed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Move on to new business, ordinances, second reading.
Ordinance 2024-03. This bond ordinance is to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery and a new automotive vehicle, including original apparatus and equipment in by and for the township, to appropriate the sum of $2,384,000 to pay the costs thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bond.
Motion?
I will make a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-03, address read by Madam Clerk, with a publication in the local source on February 29th, 2024.
I second that motion.
Okay. Anyone from the public care to comment on that? I'm seeing none. Any discussion up here?
I think we went through it at length last time,
Yeah,
but if
we-
anybody else wants to run through it again, you know, it's taking care of some of our safety apparatuses in town, providing needed funding for our fire, to purchase certain equipment that would keep them safe in an emergency situation. It's updating some of our police equipment, making sure that they continue to function and putting money towards that. It's making necessary, putting money for necessary improvements. That's part of a schedule of our ongoing maintenance of our current buildings so they don't fall into disrepair, and making sure that it's kept on a nice orderly schedule so we're not falling behind. It's purchasing needed equipment after the useful life of certain equipment in our DPW has expired. So I wouldn't say it's an extravagant bond ordinance. I'd say it's meeting our goals of what we've set out over the last few years.
Yeah, I agree. This unfortunately just happens to be out of necessity. Roll call vote?
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber? Mayor Weber?
Yes. First readings, there are none.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a motion to add a resolution to the agenda?
Yes, please, which is it?
I will make a motion to add resolution number 2024-71, which is making certain changes to our shared service agreement with the County of Union in regards to our 911 call processing and radio dispatch services.
Okay, noted.
Second.
Second.
Should we take roll?
Roll call. Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber? Mayor Weber?
Yes,
That's just adding it.
Correct.
yep, that is just adding it. All right.
I'll move the motions.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move motions, resolutions 2024-68, 2024-69, 2024-70, and 2024-71.
Pull 71.
Pulling 71. So resolutions 2024-68 through 70.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber? Mayor Weber?
Yes. All right, so we pulled 2024-71. I just wanted to go into this a little bit to explain to the public what our cost was going to be had we not did a shared service with the county. We were with Mountain Valley Dispatch, and they are a fantastic situation. But unfortunately, their bill was gonna be almost 600,000, I think, for the year, for everybody. More than 600,000. Through a lot of hard work, through everybody, not only the few sitting up here, John, Chief Cook, Captain Mastroni, Scott Seidel, Abu Mullick, who else am I missing? Craig, we were able to come up with a,
Greg, Diane, John
Greg,
B.,
Diane, John.
everybody.
yeah, we were able to come up with a really fantastic deal with the county that right now seems to suit our needs very well at an amount of $178,385.10. So it is roughly a $400,000 savings over where we were going to be had we not made the move. So I just wanted to give an explanation to that. Anybody else have anything on that one, or?
I would like to move Resolution 2024-71.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Laufer,
Yes.
Committeeman Kaiser,
Yes.
Committeeman Capides,
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Mayor Weber.
Yes. Okay. Discussion and action items.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to approve a request from the New York Blood Center, New Jersey Blood Services for the use of Chisholm Community Center Gymnasium on Friday, May 17th, from 12 to 9:30 p.m. for the blood drive, Hold Harmless, and COI attached.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Finance, let's pay some bills.
I'll make a motion to adopt payroll and invoices for the period of February 14th, 2024 through February 27th, 2024 in the amount of $8,868,537.09.
Second.
Committeeman Kaiser,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer,
Yes.
Committeeman Capides,
Yes.
Committeeman Huber, Mayor Weber.
And everybody has received and will file accordingly the January budget, the January pool budget, the January revenue report, and the January pool budget. I said pool, some of those are town. The town revenue report and the town budget for January.
Okay. Correspondence. New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection fiscal year 2024 annual fee report. Public hearing Thursday, March 21st, at 10 a.m. Visit the website for the link for environmental protection annual fee. We're going to move on now to public comment on any governmental issue.
Step on up.
Don't have anybody out there yet to step on up, but there are some things I want to talk about up here. First thing, this is probably the shortest thing, but not so easy right now. Last June or July, so one of the big questions on a lot of social media forums is, will the pool be done in time for spring? Will it be resurfaced? And give you a little glimpse of what happens up here, because I've kind of decided that it's just best at this point to hammer things out somewhat in public before it, other ways. When we got a quote last year to resurface the pool, the quote was roughly $230,000. Am I correct on that, Diane? Somewhere in that area? Well, don't. Okay, it was about 230 is what we were anticipating, and we sent everything out anticipating a $230,000 return again when it's time to do it this year. Only one company has responded to it, and their quote is $100,000 on top of that. I think it's at 330 or 350 now. Now, interestingly enough, with the timing of it, that was a big question on social media about a week ago, and my response was, at the time, yeah, the pool's gonna be resurfaced. I don't know what to think of $330,000 at this point now. It's $100,000 plus.
We don't have the money. You know,
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, but I think it's needed.
I
I think we
completely,
made a commitment.
I concur with Committeeman Kaiser. I think we owe it to the residents to resurface that pool.
I think we've
I mean,
made numerous commitments.
yep.
The option was, the other option is drain it, paint it again, scrape it down, paint it again, and keep it moving and try to do it again next year.
Just gonna go, I
I
mean.
don't, and anyone, you, please, well, this is an open discussion.
Yeah, that's why I want to do this in public.
I would, I don't know for a fact, but I would bet that cost is not coming down next year.
So John, our business administrator has tried to make several calls to, see if there is any interest in other companies in putting in a bid for this. I don't think he's been successful. So right now, as I'm talking to you right now, the only price we have is $330,000+ to resurface this pool.
This is, I believe this is something we absolutely need to do. We spoke about this, we started this conversation several summers ago. We have an established pattern where it's every other year we resurface the pool. People were looking for it last year, and the one thing that we cannot control is cost. I believe we also did our due diligence in trying to find a quote. Unfortunately, it's $100,000 more than we anticipated, but I believe this is something that we need to do because our residents are looking for this to be done, for the enjoyment of the pool. And I think this is, unfortunately, we have been subject to this for now the past couple of years. Prices have gone up for everything. And unfortunately, this is another thing that has been a rising cost that we're going to have to navigate. But I don't think we cannot do it at this juncture.
Was this put out to public bid, the resurfacing of the pool?
Yes.
It was.
Only one company.
Only one company came in, okay. Yeah, I think.
Other just, and through the mayor, and you'll handle through the administration, I don't know when the drop dead date is, and I don't know if you know, like, when's the final decision we have to make?
It's going to be within,
I would bet
March.
very soon, right?
It has to be within March to commit to them doing it at their price.
For a Memorial Day
At their
open.
price. I'm wondering if we can, go out one more time for the bid, and maybe that's a question for Craig, at least put it out there, or at least one more time, if we have enough time for that.
What's the typical bid process? Like, how long does it take? Because I understand we would need a resolution to authorize it. We would need to go through all of those motions again.
So the first thing would be for this body to, and I don't know, I haven't seen the recommendation yet from our engineer on this bid opening yet. I haven't seen it, he may have prepared it already, but haven't seen it yet. So it would depend on what his recommendations are. There would have to be there would have to be a basis to reject the bids, which could be that they were out of line.
Yeah, I mean, the basis is what the mayor said. It was $100,000 more than it was last year.
Right. Assuming, if that's true, and we have a reasonable basis to do it, then
Yes.
this body would have to reject the bids and authorize going back out. And I would have to take another look, but we'd have to go back out for, I think the minimum would be for 10 days, but it might be
I mean,
practical to go out longer than that.
I mean,
We only got one the first time.
But practically speaking, you know, we need to get this done by, I imagine, our first meeting in March. We have to authorize this, so we're already, 10 days is, you know.
Yeah, there are, right, so, I can certainly touch base with the engineer tomorrow and find out, you know, where we are. And if a special meeting is necessary for that purpose, you know, that's another option to kind of expedite the process of going back out to bid, if that's even possible, and what those lead times are also.
Okay.
If not, can we get the recommendation from our engineer? I haven't seen that, you know, if he opened it up.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean,
Yeah, but
I imagine when we're ready to vote on it, we would see it,
When
but
were the bids open? When were they received?
There was a bid received today.
So that is possible.
That could be it.
Could have been it, because it was on one bid, so.
That was it, that was it.
That would explain why
oh,
we
it
don't
was,
have a report.
so it was today.
Yes, it just came today, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we made a commitment to the residents.
I think this was priority number one of several of us up here, and I think we pushed it off as many years as we possibly could have in anticipation of ultimately eventually doing it. So we have don't hold me, how many millions of dollars, $20+ million budget, $100,000, I think we can find.
Rich, what are you thinking?
I talked to John today. John said we don't have the extra $100. He was very honest with me today. We had a long conversation about it. And you guys think we can fill you up to 100? Sure. But, I mean, I think it needs to be done. But
All right, at what cost?
Apparently, $330,000.
All right, so that's to the public, to the residents, that's what's happening with the pool situation. So that is the fact right there. Somehow the estimate went up $100,000 in a few months' time. And, you know, I don't know if this is just one of the things where, you know, they got you, because it's like find another one. So.
I can't imagine there's that many companies that.
No, and that's, I think what he was gonna do was he was gonna like go really out of the box and try to call companies and see if they would be interested in putting in a bid, if we were able to, Craig says we're able to have the time to go out again. I mean, I think he was calling pretty far away to see if this was something that we can do, but we'll keep you updated on that. The second thing I wanna talk about is something that has been kicked around for a while. I'm glad you're here, Chief Cook. Overnight parking permits. What are people's thoughts? What is the TC's thoughts on developing some kind of overnight parking permit for the streets? Now, just before we talk about it, I just want to give you two thoughts. My first thought is, for police patrolling, it is absolutely fantastic for a police car to be able to drive down a cross street that intersects with just, let's say, 3, 4, 5 blocks at a time, and be able to drive down and see no vehicles on the street, which means that there are no people here who are parking or trying to hide out or maybe trying to steal a car or anything like that. It makes patrolling an absolute, it makes it much quicker, and they can cover a lot more streets without that overnight parking happening. But on the same token, there are a lot of houses that I can think of in these blocks that this is a different time. Families don't have one car anymore. Families have 4 cars, 5 cars, 3 cars, you know? I mean, everybody is driving now, and a lot of these driveways don't have the room for it. What are your thoughts on overnight parking?
I think if you're gonna give overnight parking permits, give it for the lot out here by DPW, you can park in there, and you have to get a ride home. I don't want cars parked on the street. And the chief knows that. I've called him, I've told him, I've told Rachel, I've told everybody. I leave every early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm driving, and there are cars on the street all over. We have to start buckling down. I understand people have more cars than, I mean, I've had 2, you know, my kids were home, I had 5.
Yep.
We fit them in the driveway, one way or another. But we have a whole lot over there by the library. You can, permits, you can sell a permit, and that's where you have to park. And you can even give them, I think their number, if I'm not mistaken. You can get number 71, you know, Alex has number 71, I got number 78, you know, and that's your car.
So, no, you go, I'll happily wrap it up.
We'll just go straight down the
Yeah,
line.
we'll just go down the line.
I do believe that some sort of parking permit system needs to be implemented. Just off the top of my head, I'm not a fan of the lot idea. I don't think it's practical or sustainable depending on where you live in town. I think there should be some sort of application process that does not allow any resident carte blanche access to these passes. I believe that there should be some sort of application process where there is a definite need to have a pass because it is not practical to fit all cars in the driveway. You made it work, but in other driveways, they have a lot of smaller driveways, different driveways that are not gonna be able to fit cars, all the cars that they need. There should be an application process. There should be a fee to do this, and to be quite honest with you, I also think it should be a substantial fee, again, to not hand these passes out to everybody. I think it should also involve some type of decal to put, maybe a reflective decal to put in the window. So as police are patrolling and they look down those streets in the scenario, they can see right away, if they see a car and they see that decal, that's reflective, they know it's supposed to be there. But, you know, I also think, and finally, just to wrap up, that maybe perhaps a subcommittee could be formed to discuss this more in detail with our traffic bureau, with whomever Chief Cook sees is applicable to be in that conversation, to really come up with a process that is very collaborative, because I do think there is a need, because quite frankly, there's just driveways in town that are not gonna be able to fit the cars that they're gonna need as their children grow older.
The only thing I want to add to that is the last snowstorm. Neighbor next to me parked out overnight. I don't know if he called, they didn't get a ticket. It wasn't that much snow, but if it was a lot of snow, my driveway wouldn't have been plowed. And I think that's wrong, that you cannot do it during the snow, because these guys I used to plow snow. You're exhausted. At 3 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna plow. Who's gonna, oh, I hit that car, shit. You know, excuse me.
Yes.
You know, I hit the car, and it's gonna happen. It's not, and I'm not putting anybody down, but go through Union when it snows. Liberty Avenue, one of the main streets there. I mean, that's what I have against it on the street. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
So my first thing would be, before I come to any decision, I'd like to see what the data is. I mean, there's gotta be data that's out there. There's a cost associated, or a benefit, frankly, a benefit to the town that these tickets are, so I'd like to ask Chief Cook for that data. Secondly, I agree that we can't, or we shouldn't, allow for carte blanche to park overnight. I mean, right now, the system is pretty easy. You call up the desk, you give them the car, the license plate, your name, and sometimes they ask for a reason, sometimes they don't. You're off the phone in 3 minutes. I happen to know that because I did it over the weekend. It was 3 minutes. So I do think there needs to be some control. I certainly agree with Committeeman Capides that you know, maybe this is a great job for the Public Safety Committee. I think these discussions out in the open are really good. And I think this is a great topic for it. But I think, yeah, I don't think we should be allowing for carte blanche. And frankly, Chief, if people aren't calling in, they should be ticketed. You got to call in. And I mean, we have an ordinance for a reason. We paid for this ordinance. This ordinance is supposed to benefit the town. If they don't call, they should be ticketed. And that should be a blanket policy. But those are really my thoughts. It's something we absolutely need to study, but I would ask you for the data so we see the full picture instead of shooting from the hip.
Al?
I know I come out with strong on certain things a lot of the times and say yes or no from the start, in my opinion. I'm not going to do that this time. I would say that I'm pretty close to Rich in saying no on this. I think in what we're seeing statewide with break-ins, in kind of check-in handles on cars, right? I think that just, in my view, that would lend to maybe even making it easier for said bad actors to go down a straight line, being even further away from Ring doorbells, making it harder for our police to patrol. And I would be really hesitant to making it any easier than it already is for those bad actors. That's where I'm coming from. And it's also a crowding thing. Some of our streets aren't necessarily the widest avenues. If people are going to be parking on both sides, then you're turning into a one lane. And trust me, if you're going down in Union sometimes, you got to pull over, you got to let people pass. That's another area where I'd come from where I wouldn't feel comfortable. I think having two cars parked on either side, that's going to pose difficulty during snowstorms, during just regular business hours. The other avenue to this too is I think we already have, if I'm not mistaken, and Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, I think people can already apply to park overnight in that lot. I think there is an application period, and I think there might be a couple people that already take.
Yeah, there are people that in the general green.
So some people already do take advantage of that. I'm in agreement with Committeeman Capides. Yeah, let's not make this take free for all. If we definitely do go down this line, I would not go free for all. It should be only for the hardest hit. I don't know. Maybe if there's also, I don't know if we can tailor it. I think some towns, maybe there's certain areas of the town that can park on street, maybe not opening it up, right? If you're looking over some of the side streets off of Mountain Avenue, those side streets there by I'm drawing a blank on the nursery, those are wide open streets with large driveways. I don't think you'd want people necessarily parking there, but some places near you, near the border of Union, are those are tinier streets. Maybe they're tinier homes, they have tinier driveways, and they, in this economy where kids are staying longer, maybe commuting to school, they might need that. So maybe we can tailor it if we give it to the subcommittee to look at, maybe not opening it up townwide. But my initial reaction, I'm a little hesitant in making it anything any easier for people who are already going around patrolling, giving them areas to hide, right? Especially if a police car's patrolling, something's on the car, they can hide behind the car. It provides more opportunity for people to sneak around. And per my understanding, and it could be all wives' tale, the towns that did this, right, back in the day, to prohibit it, it was always my understanding, it was policing issues. But it was also, I think, maybe insurance issues. I think the insurance companies back in the day pushed that narrative to try to get people to park in their car. You leave a car overnight on a street, hey, side swipes, stuff like that. So I'm not too thrilled, but I do understand that certain residences may have a need, and I would also like to hear from them. So maybe the subcommittee can put together a townwide survey and get data, like Kara said, on how many people actually would use this or would be inclined. Because let's face it, if it's 5 people, I don't know if we need to open it up townwide. And a question to the chief, the ordinance. Does the ordinance if I decided to, and on my house, could I call the police department every single day and get an exemption? Or is there a max amount of days in a row that I can call and get an exemption under the current ordinance?
I don't believe the ordinance specifies one way or the other, but we do look for patterns, and we don't allow a continuous thing. We tell them they need to make some sort of an arrangement.
Okay.
Ask a neighbor, maybe doesn't have a car, whatever. We do pay attention to that.
You do? Okay. Well, I'd be curious, if you had data to notice, if you kept track of that. And to that, I think I know the administration was looking into even easier than calling. I think you guys were contemplating. There's a company out there that you could just do it on your phone or go on.
Yeah, when I have the chance, I'll comment on.
Yeah, no.
I was waiting for you guys to finish.
No. Hey, so that's just my throwing that out there. I'd like to see some comments on that and your general thoughts.
And also, just real quick, and you reminded me about data collection. Not only do we want to know, I would think about who is interested in getting these permits, but I also, if we're talking about off-site parking, I would also like to know how many people have permits currently for instance, General Green. We may not have the ability to provide spaces depending on how many people have said permits for those designated spaces. So that's also a data set we may want to look at as well.
If anybody from the public wants to come up, we're in an open meeting.
What Alex said about the parking on both sides, my thoughts are, if we're gonna give you permits, you can park one car in front of your house, period. Because if you go down my street, Rose Avenue, and you're parked on both sides, I just about get through. I will not give your house two and his house two and
Well,
this guy.
let me say this. Here's kind of what I had in mind, and I'm going to give you 2 examples of 2 blocks, real quick. Tooker has real long driveways. Tooker's driveways, in general, are 100-plus feet overall when you go up there. Some of Henshaw's driveways are maybe 20 feet at the most. Some of Henshaw, 2 cars are parked, and they're almost covering the sidewalks when they're parked side by side.
Then again, someone living on Henshaw, some of those driveways are shared.
That's what I'm saying. So some of them are shared, so they're condensed already. What I had in my head was zoning goes by, police goes, what I had was, what I was thinking was, each driveway is assessed by the police, zoning, whoever, and I have 100-plus foot driveway. I know I can fit 5 cars in there. I should not be entitled to a parking permit at that point.
I agree with you.
Yeah, but meanwhile, and I hate to single you out, you're a great example, because you share a driveway, you and your wife's cars are side by side there, and you don't have any other room. Your only other choice is to pave your front lawn.
But the other side, I'm going to give you the other side, there are, and maybe you don't know this.
Which you would need a variance.
There are driveways on Henshaw that are shared, meaning access, you only have one access. But there is space behind the houses for 2 or 3 cars. So, that's not my particular house, but there are on Henshaw driveways and houses that will not be eligible if we set this up the right way to get.
Yeah, most of the driveways that I have seen driving around this town for all of these years, the majority of them do not fit what I would determine a criteria for needing a parking permit. I keep singling you out. You happen to be one of those people who I look at and say, you fit it perfectly because you can't fit any more cars than you have.
But for me, speaking for me personally, I would probably not get a permit right away because trying not to get personal, in my circumstance, not going to need space for a third car in the near future or for the next couple of years. But there will become a time where I'm gonna need space for that third car. So even though I might be my driveway space might be underutilized, I may not apply for a permit right away because there wouldn't be a need to.
Bob?
Bob Broder, 98 Washington Avenue. I'm kind of mixed on this, but I use an example of Union, and I do go through there a fair amount of times. You can't move on their side streets, they have 24-hour parking. You almost have an accident just trying to drive. It's a two-way street. They don't have enough one-ways. If you're gonna allow it, then you need to make some streets one-way where logically it has to be. But that will never fly in this town.
That's right.
Secondly, Mr. Capides is a perfect example of exceptions where you need to do it. But the general rule of thumb is, it's working, why mess with it, except for exceptions where there's limited space driveways. I think what you're saying makes sense. You open it up a little, but I don't think you should open up to everybody. You'll just open up a can of worms. You'll make the police's enforcement twice as hard as it already is.
This is, and if we do that, and forgive me, but I do want to reiterate that this process, if we do this, this needs to be per approval. Like, again, this is not, I wouldn't see this as a situation where, Mr. Groder needs a parking permit, so we're gonna give him one. There needs to, right, but I'm saying there would be a process. Zoning officer would go out there, perhaps someone from the police department would go out there, look at your driveway, and they would be the determination of whether they need, correct.
Then that's no problem, if you do it that way, because maybe some people,
Need a little space.
I'm gonna start.
4 cars in a house.
All the cars.
When I was growing up, we had 4 cars in a household, and luckily we had enough driveway, we had to move out of each other's way all the time, but we were lucky enough on Mizell Avenue where I grew up, we had the space. Not everybody has that luxury, and families now have become very reliant on cars, so you gotta find a middle ground. Sure. That was just my thoughts.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chief?
Nope, one more.
Oh, one more.
One
Hold
more.
on. Just hold on, Chief.
Chief, you get another couple minutes to collect your thoughts.
I'm making a list.
This is a very sensitive subject for me because I actually have a problem where I've got 4 drivers and a 3-car driver. And that being said, I'm vehemently against street parking.
Go ahead.
And this is my problem, and I'm admitting that I have a problem. My daughter cannot buy a car. I have to drive her to work every day, I have to pick her up every day, that's my cross to bear. But I'd rather do that than have our town turn into
Interesting.
We're supposed to elevate ourselves, separate ourselves from the towns that are, quite frankly, if I may say so, beneath us. So with that being said, I think all of you made some very good points, and together, combining it all, it could be a really positive thing. I like the idea of the reflective sticker on the car. I like the fact of off-street parking. I like the fact of getting a permit. I really think that, and I probably am speaking out of turn here, because I don't know the demographics, but I think Springfield Pool is perfect. Because when you think about it, you have that section of parking down the side. So the cars are protected by the fence and the highway. One way in, one way out, and it's lit. Taking that into consideration, now, the only expense that you would have to do would be some sort of security camera.
We already have that.
We have sure.
It's there.
There.
I believe we rent those spots, though.
That's a good idea, I forgot about it.
We do, you're right, we do.
The bottom line is now, people who live on Walton Sandmar side of town are gonna have a problem with that. Maybe we can expand Jitney.
Interesting
The
thought.
Jitney runs every day from the pool to the Short Hill train station.
Yes.
Yep.
Make it another stop, 2 other stops. That could be something, now they can't run 24 hours a day, it would be impossible. But it runs during morning rush, it runs during evening rush.
How hard would it be to find a 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. jitney driver?
Rich Huber. Thank you for volunteering.
That would be impossible.
it's gotta go, like, on the side.
Yeah, or be an
Side
exterior
window,
sticker.
yeah.
Or an exterior sticker. But an exterior sticker, while not a bad idea, can be
Okay.
Sounds like you're volunteering for the subcommittee.
It's public safety.
Yeah.
We're already on it.
Chief,
Chief,
what do you got?
2 minutes.
First, I'd like to thank the two commenters on their ideas, and I appreciate your understanding of what we're going through. So Captain Rachel, Lieutenant Westover, and myself have been discussing this for several weeks now, brainstorming on ideas, which some of you guys were bringing up tonight. Again, we have this new parking app, how we can utilize that to assist us with permit parking. But we've been working on criteria. A lot of it you guys had mentioned already. The need is a big thing, and we do understand times have changed, the way the economy is, a lot of kids are staying home. Redevelopment going on, not that that's has been an issue yet, but we do notice there's a lot of issues where we have condo live, like on Troy Drive and Victory Road. We get a lot of issues because they'll rent apartments with very limited parking available. Wabino's another one. So we see a majority of requests in those areas. And we do understand, and we're trying to help them out. So what I'm thinking is, we finish our compilation of ideas that we have and then meet with whatever subcommittee, whoever it's gonna be, and we can present, because we know it's gonna require an ordinance change nonetheless. So we wanted to get everything together. I'll pull up the ordinance, and whatever revisions would need to be made, then we can sit with the subcommittee to discuss it, come up with the ideas, fine-tune it, and then present it to the entire committee. If you want to put it out to the town for a vote, I don't know if that's, I don't know what you're going to get from that, but
I think we need to explore all options before that happens.
there's a lot to look at, and again, we've been chiseling away at it for a while now. And as far as us working and writing summonses, if you looked at my report under the summonses issued under town ordinances, majority of that is going to be the 2 to 6 parking. It could be other parking violations as well. Majority of it's 2 to 6 parking. So for January of last year, we had 97. January of this year, we had 228. So we have been increasing what the officers are out there doing.
Last month, your numbers were fantastic too, last month.
Yeah, I've made it known. I've made it known.
Your numbers were outrageous.
Mr. Huber and I have discussed this at length, and
Police department hates me.
no, I agree with you.
Oh, no.
I got no problem with what you're saying. I've been in this town for a long time, and I've been through Union for a long time too, and it's, if anybody wants to complain about it, then they should drive through Union. No offense to Union. Grew up there, but
I hear
it's huge. It's a huge difference.
Yeah,
And Chief, let me ask you,
Yes.
I'm from Union too, that's why I said.
how far do you have to be from a stop sign? You know, park from a stop sign,
The stop sign, I believe, is 50 feet.
50 feet? Because if you go, and I'm just using Rose Avenue because I'm down there every day. If I park in front of my house, the first house, I said even the second house, it doesn't seem like it's 50 feet. And I'm not saying you should give them a ticket, but it's so tight. It's unbelievable down there. I mean, it's,
All right, I can pay attention, like, I always invite the community to let me know if there's something I should pay attention to.
I looked at that and I said, when they're parked on the east side of the street, and the guy's parked in front of his own house, which, you know, he should, you just about do that. It's just,
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of perception. Not everybody's has a good depth perception to know what 50 feet would be. I don't want to start painting curbs yellow, because then,
I'm just saying,
but-
I don't want that either.
Oh, no, not doing that again.
yeah, we don't want, yeah.
Work with guys that took out tape
All
measure.
right, thanks, Chief.
Yeah, am I done discussing that? So, yeah, whatever data that you want me to try to compile, if you just want to send me an email, give me a list of what you're looking for. The permits in General Green, that's easy enough. But anything else you want to, just send me a list so I can whatever is I'm able to get, we will get together for you. And, you know, and we'll put a rush on getting to sit. Just let me know who the subcommittee is going to be, if it's the Public Safety Committee or whoever.
How many people park at the pool during the day? How many people park there to take the city? I don't know.
At the school?
No, at the pool.
Oh, at the pool. I'm not sure. I couldn't give you an answer, but I can certainly find out.
I just wondering.
Oh. Okay.
Good, okay.
I got one more thing.
Go ahead.
I want to recognize tonight was the first meeting of the Finance Resident Review Committee. I want to give Diane Sherry, our CFO, props. Thank you for answering every question. I want to give our chairman, Alex Kaiser, some props. Thank you, Chairman. I want to give Mr. Moriello props. Thank you for volunteering for the town, and it was a very good conversation. And I look forward to many more, and thank everybody for going out of the way to make this town better.
Yeah, that is, I am so happy to hear that it went well. You had a full attendance?
We were missing one member. I don't remember his name off the top of my head because I'm in overnight parking mode, but it was a very good conversation.
And just to piggyback off of that, we've had several volunteers for our rec committee.
Great.
And that will be meeting, our first meeting will be in March.
Wait, I missed that announcement.
Rec,
Oh, the rec.
be in March.
All right, that's wonderful. That makes, that makes us all very happy to hear that went up.
I move to adjourn.
1 second. Chief, I just want to acknowledge your guys and girls, men and women, sorry. Women and men in the police department.
People.
The stats have been fantastic the last few months. They really, we've always sat here and said up here that, we would take whatever heat came our way or whatever, and that overnight parking thing is a great example. I'm gonna tell you something. I called, I just want to tell you a story real quick. I was still working in the Newark Police Department, and I would come home from work, and I did not really know the rules here, and I parked my car on the street like 2 or 3 days in a row.
You learned.
And I did learn. I got 3 tickets in a row. I called the chief, who, I don't know what I was looking for, but he was just like, I can't help you. You got to pay the tickets. So I paid the tickets.
$210.
And I learned my lesson. And I got to tell you something. I appreciate that was done. Whether I had who they knew who I was or not, it didn't matter. And we always sat here and said that we would always, take the heat for them doing their job as long as that job was proper. So, we're prepared to do that. So their numbers have been fantastic. Calls for service have even been up over from this year to last year. So they're even busier and still producing better. So that is fantastic. So to the police department, thank you.
That's appreciated. Can I take this opportunity to make one other public service announcement?
Yes.
Being that whoever's listening. I don't want to say fair warning, but I have my officers targeting Morris Avenue, the center of town, more so. We've had some bad accidents with pedestrians getting hit, et cetera. So you're going to see increased enforcement in the area with the 30-mile-an-hour speed zone. So we're going to be enforcing speeding there, pretty strict enforcement, as well as the right lane coming down for Caldwell, those who try to shoot straight through that. The way I put it to my guys is Kenilworth Boulevard, it's a great example. I mean, as wide as that road is, it's a 25-mile-an-hour speed zone. Oh. And 85% of the people are doing 25.
Or your car neutral.
We need to have that in our center of town. People that are just using us as a means to get from point A to point B seem to not care about Springfield. Well, that's who's going to learn the lesson, I suppose. So we're going to be out there, and just anybody who lives in Springfield is watching or listening. Just a heads up to you guys. The ones who are violating it are probably not listening, not going to know, but they'll learn the hard way. So just wanted to get that out there.
Nope, we appreciate it.
The signs on there, chief, the signs on Morris Avenue. They have a sign under the bridge saying right lane for turn on, right, turn on. But people don't notice that. And does the state put those signs up, or are we responsible?
Well, it's a state highway, so I'm not sure. I think the state may have, because they have to give us the okay to do the lane configurations. But Mr. Betcher and I, we drove up there, because that was a point of contention amongst a few things. The visibility of the signage. Now, that lane is clearly, I mean, there's signs that go 500 feet back. So there's no way, if you're paying attention, and granted, some of them were covered by tree limbs, et cetera, or they were dirty, like the one under the bridge may have had road grime on it. Mr. Betcher actually went out there with one of his guys with a brush and cleaned the sign off. So now it's nice and bright, you can't miss it. Cut away the tree limbs so that everything is visible. So that had been an excuse in the past. It really shouldn't be now. Unless stuff grew real fast, I'll go check again. But there's more than fair notice as that lane is for right turns only. But people coming down, if you see that left lane, you're coming down a hill, you're like, the line is tremendous. It is what it is. Don't try to cut in on anybody. The lane markings? I'll check it out and see what they look like.
Up further, because the marker, I think that it's an only right lane. If you're just looking at the lane, I think it's close. It's close to where it turns. I don't think there's a gradual lane marker.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I know when the state reconfigured Morris Ave for turning onto Mountain, that left lane is for left turns only. We had some input with that, and we told them to make those arrows go back far enough where there's plenty of notice. Because you're in the left lane, there's really no place to put a street sign that you're going to be paying attention to it. So those arrows are pretty prominent there. But I'll take a look at that right lane too. Yeah, and when you know it, you don't need to pay attention to it. Even you see it, but you subliminally don't really see it. But
Thank you.
Fantastic
Welcome.
meeting. I'm glad we got to speak about all this stuff in public.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.